This episode is brought to you by the Missed Connection section of Craigslist because we don't get enough downloads for real sponsors.
Wendy's drive-thru, New Hartford, 8:35. M4W, Wendy's Seneca Turnpike. Beautiful face in the mirror. Was waiting for you to order to tell you how pretty you are. They didn't have what you wanted, so you left. Let's get dinner sometime. Tell me what you ordered. Posted 29 days ago.
I'm Jay.
And we have no ideas.
So much so that we apparently cannot do our intro.
It was your turn to start it this week. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. So, how's everybody doing? Settle in.
Let me tell you, I was searching for missed connections today in my office at work.
You know, that's weird because I got a sponsor request for Missed Connections. They wanted to sponsor our podcast, so I said, "Yeah, throw one on the beginning." That's so funny.
Yeah, because I like to look at them because I think they're kind of funny. So, I'm looking and I find one that says "True Gentleman M4W."
Oh, okay, all right.
I'm sitting in my office at work. Thank God my office mate wasn't there. I open it up, and it is a naked man with an erect penis.
Oh, dear.
With his face scribbled out. So
well, at least he had the decency to. At least he had the decency to
anonymously.
Yeah, I was thinking like anonymous. Eyes. I don't think that word goes in that tense.
Anonymize.
Anonymize. At least he had the decency to anonymize his penis.
Oh my God. I closed it so fast because I was just like, oh my God. Thank goodness that my, the IT department knows that if I'm looking at something, chances are it's something inappropriate.
Yeah, that penis was crime related. Just saying. Sorry, please don't fire me. It'll never happen again. Yeah, that Craigslist section is just a dumpster fire of humanity. Anyway. So, this week, I thought we could talk about universes and stars and everything that goes with them. But not
that's not what we discussed earlier.
Yeah, universes. Well, okay, movie universes. Just kidding, people. You got to get those astronauts in on the podcast, then flip it around on them.
Okay, that's a good one.
See that? See what I did there? So for all you Neil deGrasse Tyson fans, not talking about that this episode. We are talking about movie universes. And apparently America's obsession with them in the last couple of years. So I thought I would go through and just kind of talk about, or we would talk about, obviously, but I can throw it out there.
Oh, I'm glad you're not doing the podcast by yourself.
Sometimes it feels like it. Don't spit that on the computer screen, please.
No, I was going to call you a dick.
It's nothing new. No, I kid. So I do tend to talk too much sometimes, but so I was thinking about it, and there really is like a fascination with universes. So my question I pose to you, or pose to our listeners, and maybe you can tell me what your insight is. Why are people fascinated with continuity and connection? And by that I mean, obviously you have Marvel, you have DC, you have crossovers on DC television. Like, why? What is the appeal to that? Do you think that people just cannot get enough of it? Like, what is it about seeing your favorite characters from different places come together, and like that just makes people insane to the point where everybody's trying to do it?
I don't know. I think because, you know, they work on like a show will work on world building and really fleshing out characters.
Mm-hmm.
And so to see them in something else, it lends a little bit of credibility to wherever they're going.
Yeah, I get that.
I mean, I'll give you a perfect example.
Please.
Since apparently I think I'm the only person that watched the show. So Doctor Who.
Uh-huh.
So the Whoverse, when they tried to create that TV show Class.
Oh, yeah, I didn't watch that.
Like I said, I think I'm the only person who did. It got canceled. It got terrible ratings.
Oh, yeah. No, of course.
You know, the very first episode, the Doctor came over onto it.
Right.
You know, to kind of introduce us to this world and let them know that this is all part of, you know, the greater Whoniverse.
Whoverse? Is it Whoniverse? Or Whoverse?
Is it Whoniverse? I don't know.
Interesting. We'll have to talk about that another time.
So, you know, it gave some continuity. It gave us familiarity with the world. We already know that this world exists because we've spent, you know, the last 10 years watching, you know, and for some people the last 50 plus years watching Doctor Who.
Right.
And so if we see a monster on there, we already know the monster because we spent time with it, with Doctor Who.
No, and you know, and Doctor Who has done that before as well. We're talking, if you're talking Torchwood, which that was a lot more popular. I feel like it had a couple seasons, right?
Several, and then I think like either Stars or Showtime picked it up for a little while. And did like a more adult version of it. I could never really get into Torchwood for some reason, even though I love Captain Jack.
Barrowman. That man. Man is fantastic. Yeah,
man, woman, alien, as long as it's consenting, he doesn't care.
As long as it's consent. Hey, at least he goes for consent. So he's an equal opportunity lover of things. You hate that word, don't you?
I hate that word.
Okay, noted.
Let's add that to the list.
Add that to the list.
Yeah, along with daddies. Unless Cotton Candy Randy is saying it.
Daddies. Thank you, Good Mythical Morning, for Cotton Candy Randy. That's all I can say. I've even introduced it to my 6-year-old. That's how entertaining Cotton Candy Randy is.
Did you actually show him a clip of Cotton Candy
No,
Randy?
I didn't show it to him yet, but I was following him around the house. Literally following him around the house. Going, like, every time he would be doing something, I'd come up behind him, get real close, and go, "Happy Cotton Candy Day, daddies." And he's like, "What are you saying, Dad? Leave me alone." I'm like, "Happy Cotton Candy Day." And then at one point, I think he was on the couch. I got in real close to his face. I was like, "I keep a mouse in a sock." For any of you that do watch Good Mythical Morning, you know what we're talking about. If you don't, go watch Good Mythical Morning or do a Google search for Cotton Candy Randy. It's very funny. Anyway. So yeah, I think, you know, I mean, it's one of those things too. It's hard to explain why I find it so appealing. For me, it's like, I know I like it, but I don't know why. Okay. But at the same time, I can tell you, like, obviously the biggest one, the Marvel Universe. I can tell you, I like it, not even so much because the characters cross over, because, you know, there's continuity through movies, but it's the way in which they do it. There's been Easter eggs in them, you know, in the movies from the very beginning. There's been a lot of planning that has gone into it. Nothing was ever done by accident. And I feel like that is apparent when you're engrossed in it as well. You can appreciate that, and it allows you to appreciate the entirety of what you're viewing more.
Okay.
I think it's like you appreciate the effort that went into it, maybe,
Now,
instead of just
please
slapping
no spoilers,
something. Yep, go ahead.
because I have not seen Black Panther yet.
I haven't either.
Okay, good. I'm going, I think, tomorrow.
We're gonna try to go this weekend, maybe Saturday. We were gonna go last weekend, and it was completely sold out everywhere.
We wanted to go last weekend, but my husband caught the crud that I've had. So he slept most of the weekend.
Gotcha. So what you were gonna say about it though, or are you just gonna say don't spoil it?
I was just gonna say don't spoil it, because I know that since we're talking about the Marvel Universe right now, I didn't want you to say anything,
Gotcha.
that might ruin it for me, because I'm super pumped to see it.
No, yeah, I heard. I mean, it's blown everything away, everything. But yeah, I think in terms of that, I can appreciate the effort that goes into creating it, whereas there's obviously the universes that have failed that you can see. I feel like you can see. It's always obvious that you can see why. One of the big ones they tried to start and it failed was the Universal Monsters universe.
Okay.
So the first movie in that series was Dracula Untold, I believe.
Oh, really?
Yes.
How old is that? Because isn't that kind of old?
No, it's only a couple years old. Maybe.
Oh. Okay.
What are you
I'm
thinking of? I'm talking about the one with Gaston as Dracula.
I did not see Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, Sharon wanted to watch it, so it was actually not bad.
I don't really like Beauty and the Beast. It's not one of my favorites, so.
Okay.
Luke Evans. I'm pretty sure he's been in other things besides Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, I'm sure. I think it was Luke Evans that was in Dracula Untold, was it?
Yeah, I just googled it.
So that was the first movie in that series. If you haven't guessed already, do you know what the second one was?
The Mummy
with Tom Cruise. Yes.
Yeah.
That was the second one.
By the way, Luke Evans was in Fast and Furious 6.
Okay, that's great.
As the bad guy.
That's wonderful.
That's a universe.
Yeah. Well, I'm getting there.
Okay,
so,
sorry.
Universal Monsters movie universe. So I believe Russell Crowe was going to be playing Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Again, I didn't see The Mummy, so I'm not sure. But they were setting up for The Invisible Man, The Creature from the Black Lagoon, Frankenstein, The Wolfman. Like, they were going to do all these movies, have all these monsters together. And the first two were crap. Like, it was just, all right, so I saw part of Dracula Untold. It was not great. I haven't seen The Mummy yet, but it obviously was crap.
I refuse, because the Brendan Fraser Mummy movies are some of my all-time favorites.
They're terrible, by the way, but they're great.
I'm well aware, but I still love them.
But they're fantastic.
So
they're fantastic. At least the first two.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, you can't. The Scorpion King doesn't count, and neither does that absolute garbage heap where Rachel Weisz wouldn't even be in it because she didn't want to be an old mom.
I don't.
So, and they made like a fourth. So we had the Scorpion King.
Yeah.
And then there was one after that they made, and it was Brendan Fraser.
Oh yeah, the kid was an adult.
Son,
his son was an adult.
And it was like, I might even own it. I might have it over in my corner somewhere. I'm looking to see.
The funny thing is,
they didn't. The
one
Maria
with Jet
Bello
Li
played the wife.
It was Jet Li. It was the Dragon King or something corny.
Something like that. It was garbage.
And the funny thing is, in talking about that was its own little universe too, because they had the Scorpion King and everything.
Mm-hmm. And they made like a bunch of Scorpion King movies.
They did, yeah, all B-movie versions. But I mean, like I said, using that as an example, you can see there wasn't the effort, the same amount of effort wasn't put in. I mean, I get it. Marvel's like king shit of the heap right now, and
Mm-hmm.
but it's Kevin Feige. It's the effort that man puts in, that he's done to plan this stuff out, that makes it successful. And all these other people want to just jump right in. DC wants to jump right in. Oh, we're just gonna jump right into Justice League, and it was terrible, terrible.
You have to wonder though with the MCU, because I know we're gonna keep coming back to it. Do you think when they made the first Iron Man,
Yes.
do you think that they had this whole thing plotted out?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. I think Kevin Feige knew that he wanted to create all these movies, and he eventually wanted to do an Infinity War. Like, he wanted to work up to, because think about it, was it Captain America that had, what was the very first movie that had Thanos in it? He was early on. He was very early on. Let me think for a second. It was
Thanos. Didn't he show up in the Avengers? Like for the first time?
I thought it was before then.
Because Captain America, the first Avenger, there was no Infinity Gem. I don't think there's been an Infinity Stone in any of the Captain America movies.
I don't believe so. All right, so Thanos' first appearance was in the Avengers.
Yes, because with Loki and his scepter.
Yeah, they kept talking about the Dark Lord, the Dark Lord, the Dark Lord, but they didn't say who it was until the end when he turned around. But that was, what, 4 movies in? You had Iron Man?
Right, that's why I'm saying. So Iron Man came out
10 years ago. It's been 10 years. Yep. Yeah, so
that's why I'm wondering if,
because you had Iron Man, Thor, or Iron Man, Captain America, Thor.
Hold on, my friend. Marvel or MCU order. Was Thor before Captain America the First Avenger?
Yeah, I don't remember. I'm racking my brain here, but I don't remember.
Because apparently the Incredible Hulk is considered part of Phase 1.
Correct. Because
the 2008
Correct, because
Incredible Hulk.
Right, the Ed Norton one. Yeah, because at the end, Tony Stark comes in and talks to General Ross. That was one of the Easter eggs. Okay. So it was Iron Man, Hulk, Thor.
Iron Man 2.
Iron Man 2 came before.
I'm looking at the wiki right now.
All right.
So Phase 1 is Iron Man, Incredible Hulk, Iron Man 2, Thor, Captain America the First Avenger,
and then Avengers.
Then the Avengers.
So
then Phase 2.
What year was the Avengers?
The Avengers was 2012.
Yeah, so I think it was planned out from the very beginning. I really do.
Okay.
You would have had to. If you think about everything that's transpired, he would have had to. But needless to say, we can say beyond the shadow of a doubt that there was planning well in advance, no matter how far in advance. And I think that makes the difference when you try to throw things together like DC is doing or Universal is doing. It's never going to work. You're not going to be able to compete.
Another big problem though too is the continuity of the universe, because Marvel they've created this insane giant huge universe. We've got the MCU. Then you have Agent Coulson, who's in the Avengers, brought over to television.
True.
To usher in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
True.
And then there were some tie-ins throughout Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. with different movies, like Thor: The Dark World and Captain America, Winter Soldier.
True.
And then you've got Netflix,
Mm-hmm. Which
who is
all
all part of
right.
that continuity as well. They've kept the same characters.
Right.
Agent Coulson, so if they wanted to bring an Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. over, they're not going to recast them. We've
Right.
already got them.
Or if you wanted
You've
to
got the
see,
Netflix stuff.
yep.
And then even Hulu.
Hulu is Runaways.
Yes, which was excellent.
Did they reference the rest of the Marvel universe? I
I'm
thought I heard
trying
that
to
they did not.
think.
I mean,
Hold
because
on,
the
I'm
easy way
pretty
for
sure.
them, the easy way for all these shows to do it is they always reference the New York incident. Like, ooh, it's the New York incident, which I get it. It's, whatever. Not.
Let's see.
I mean, I love the Netflix shows. Don't get me wrong. Like Luke Cage, excellent. Jessica Jones, excellent. Daredevil, amazing. Iron Fist,
Mm-hmm.
Defenders, but as a whole, it's very good.
Apparently, Runaways has a connection to Doctor Strange.
Okay. Yeah, there is some mysticism in it, I guess. But I haven't watched it
It's in
yet.
the same universe. Um, but because it takes place in California,
Mm-hmm.
I think
Ooh, West Coast
they're.
Avengers. That's a thing.
No, I know. I'm excited for them to bring Young Avengers to TV.
Yeah. I mean, I'm again, I know we talked about this in an earlier episode, I think. But I mean, I'm kind of looking forward to the Fox deal if that goes through too, because you got, X-Men shows on television like The Gifted that
Mm-hmm.
could tie into. Oh man, if Chris Evans and Hugh Jackman and like together on the same screen, I will
Yeah,
lose
but
my
Chris
mind.
Evans is done after Infinity War 2 or
Oh, he'll come
Avengers
back.
4.
He'll come back. He'll come back and fight with Wolverine.
Mm.
But anyway,
I don't
needless to
know.
say,
Sebastian Stan has a huge contract that they've barely even begun to fulfill.
it's true. It'll be summer soon for the Winter Soldier.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that means. I don't really know what that means, and I don't really know
I
what
don't
your
either,
response
but
was.
I'm just picturing Sebastian Stan in like shirtless, and I'm fine with that.
Okay.
He is in Wakanda.
Summer breeze makes Sebastian Stan feel fine. I'm getting losing my mind tonight.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Marvel's doing it right. Planned universes. There's two I know of that are coming out soon. One, and this was kind of old news for anybody that follows this kind of thing, and I told you this the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Netflix purchased all of Mark Millar's stuff. Mark
Mm-hmm.
Millar, author of Kick-Ass, Wanted, The King, The Secret Service, and Netflix.
Kingsman.
The comic book's actually called The Secret Service, I believe. It's not called
Is it?
Kingsman. Yeah, it's not called specifically called Kingsman. I think it's called The Secret Service. So what?
I'm looking
Sorry,
here.
I didn't mean.
Dick.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like when you
Boom.
mentioned him the other night, I'm like I know him and I was trying to figure out like besides when I googled him, he wrote the Civil War arc for Marvel,
Correct. He's
which I've read a million times.
yeah. He's big time. So Netflix purchased like his universe, his stuff, and plans to do something with it. Um, I mean, like I said, I loved Wanted. I thought it was a great movie.
Mm.
Kick Ass was okay. Um,
I enjoyed Kick Ass. I thought it was
it was okay. The second one was not very great, but
no.
um, and I liked both Kingsmen. I liked both of them. I was, you know,
Yes.
so I think there's some good writing there. I think there's some good stuff. I think if Netflix takes their time and fleshes it out, it could be very good. The other one I'm thinking of, which I know you are super excited for, and I don't know how it's going to flesh out, but is Castle Rock, which is kind of taking an entire universe and putting it into one show.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you know
Yes.
about that? To like, give me a little explanation because I don't know too much about it. I know what it is, but
by the way,
yes,
Dick, it is Kingsman: The Secret Service in the comic book.
I know. I said it's not
You
specifically
said
Kingsman though. I think it's like the Secret Service, isn't it? Like
yes, but you made it just seem like it was just the Secret Service, and like I was an asshole.
well,
there are a couple books called the Secret Service, but
whatever.
So Castle Rock, I don't really know much about it because they've been so tight-lipped.
Okay.
You know, I know that Bill Skarsgård is in it and looks like he's in prison, so maybe he's in Shawshank.
He is in Shawshank. I know. Have you watched any of the previews?
Yeah, I saw the one with him and like the one that they released at the Super Bowl.
Okay. So no, yeah, he is in Shawshank. Like they go. The premise is he goes to, I guess there's a town called Castle Rock.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes there because he gets a call from somebody in Shawshank. I find it to be overly coincidental that Bill Skarsgård is in that show. I don't know if that's accidental or if that's purposeful. I mean, it's got to be purposeful. Like it's got this. That's such a big accident, quote unquote.
Okay, I don't think that there's continuity with Castle Rock and the most recent version of it.
You think maybe they're just using the same actor because they want there to be a weird similarity to the fact that he's the same, that it's the same person, maybe?
Because here's the thing, because Sissy Spacek is on the show.
Okay.
And she's Carrie.
So they purposely want to use the same actors.
I think
parallels to other. Okay. See, that to me is super clever, and like, I think it's gonna be really good.
Well, I mean, that's what Ryan Murphy does with all of his stuff.
Yeah, and it's a way to, number one, hire your friends,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, yeah, it is like a creepy, like, way of portraying different characters that have the same actor. So there's always like a, I like how they do that. I'm looking
right now on the IMDb page to see who else.
I mean, would you consider American Horror Story a universe, if you will, or was that more of like an anthology?
No, it is a universe. It hasn't been completely laid out yet as to
why it is the way it is.
The continuity of it, because I mean, like, so for every season, right? There's some sort of tie. So there's a couple. So like this last season that they just did, Cult, that's in the same universe as the Freak Show season.
Okay, yeah, because I was gonna say I thought there was some ties. They said that all the seasons are tied together.
Yes. we just don't know the big picture yet.
Like, isn't the Murder House the very first season the same house they're in Roanoke or whatever?
That I don't know. There's what is it? Murder House and Cult may also be related.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting.
Yeah, I mean he's built a world, and I'm really interested to see, where what it all ties together to be.
Right.
Once it, I mean, it is considered an anthology series because they're self-contained.
Okay.
But they're not, like I said, but they should all be building to some greater world.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely interesting, but I think that goes back it kind of takes us back to what I said in the first place. I think there's just such a fascination with the continuity and the connection of things that like people just can't get enough of it.
Now, I will ask you this. Do you think that Castle Rock will tie into the Dark Tower universe?
God, I hope not.
Because, and see, this is something that Stephen King did long before this fascination or whatever, is all of his books, there's some tie to a greater...
Correct, yeah.
Something.
Because I heard Dark Tower was supposed to be the one that connects everything.
Yes.
Book wise, not movie wise.
Yes.
I guess the movie was shite, but
the movie was god awful.
Like Dark Tower was, we could go to any universe and all these doorways and everything connects to this central universe. So I mean, it would have been nice if the movie did that, but it did not.
No, and it was so disappointing. I mean, I didn't necessarily, I couldn't get through the Dark Tower series. I got about 3 or 4. Yeah, I got like 3 books in maybe, and I gave up.
I made it to Wizard and Glass, and I didn't necessarily give up, but I just stopped reading for some reason, and now it's been so long that I forget what I've read.
Okay.
So I'm in that, bad spot where like I need to go back and catch up. But
yeah, even the IMDb page doesn't give hardly any description for Castle Rock.
It's very interesting. Like I said, we'll have to see what happens.
Yeah.
So real quick to round it out, I'll give you a few other ones that are either happening, gonna happen, good ideas, bad ideas.
We didn't really discuss the DC universe at all.
We could talk about that. So what do you... All right, I'm going to ask you another question. Ready?
Okay.
What do you think has been the main problem plaguing the DC universe and stopping them from being successful?
Part of it is continuity.
Okay. How so?
Okay, so how many in the last 15 years, how many Supermen have we seen?
At least 2. Movies, TV, or are we counting both, or just movies?
Oh no, we can count everything. TVs and movies.
Well, let's talk movies because they're trying to build a singular movie universe, and they've made it quite clear that they're not tying their television and movies together. So let's talk movies. So movies,
and see that's my issue too. That's part of my problem is they've got this really well established TV universe. It's got great ratings. It's got characters and actors that we know already.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, and they're so adamant about not crossing over.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Marvel's like, "Hey, come by, we're here."
Mm-hmm.
DC is like, "No, these are 2 separate things," which means that every time they do a movie, they need to introduce a character, introduce the backstory.
You know what would be genius? This is what would be genius, I think.
Okay.
Keep your DC television characters.
Right.
Create your DC, somehow successfully create your DC movie characters.
Mm-hmm.
Do what CW is doing for the Arrowverse versus Supergirl. Do that with your entire universe. Take all your stuff. I mean, it's too late now, but take all your stuff, right? Your Flash, your Legends, your Arrow, and your Supergirl. Put them all in the same universe. Now take your DC movie characters, put them in a separate universe. Now when you do a giant movie, Crisis on Infinite Earths, you have a movie Flash and you have a television Flash. There's 2 different Flashes in 2 different universes. Maybe the television show characters just cameo in the movie. So now you've connected them without having to cast the same people, but you've created continuity in the laziest way possible, albeit the way that DC kind of works with multi-universes.
Okay.
with the multiverse.
Hmm.
I solved your problem,
That could
DC.
work.
Hire me.
But see, so the other thing too, though, is that their writing is so weak
It really
in the
is.
movie universe. It works for television, and I mean, the television stories that they're using, like you said, they're very familiar. And they're writing. I mean, Crisis on Earth X was excellent.
Oh, it was an excellent story. It was a storyline that existed in the past that they changed slightly to fit the needs of the television audience and to still make it surprising and different.
And not for nothing, but I would have gladly sat through a 3 hour. I mean, it was basically a 3 hour movie
Yeah. No, it was
when you
excellent.
got through all 4 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Absolutely.
they need to hire better writers in the DC.
And the sad thing is they brought in
universe.
Joss.
Ugh.
Like, he is a decent writer. He wrote the first Avengers movie, and it was fantastic. But he came in and just crapped on DC and was like, here you go, here's a bag of flaming poop, and call it Justice League. Like, you didn't fix anything, buddy. You didn't fix it.
I mean, Justice League made me so angry.
I have yet to see it. I'm going to rent it.
Justice League I went on in a full rage about it. I've never gotten so angry in a movie. It filled me with such anger. But the other thing too is that they keep introducing the same characters and just changing the villain. I mean, obviously, okay, fine. We couldn't have Heath Ledger again as the Joker. Can't do it. Obviously he's dead.
Right.
So they bring on Jared Leto.
Ugh.
They change up his look completely.
Ugh. They shit on his look.
I mean, Jared Leto is an Academy Award-winning actor.
Yeah, his character was garbage. That Joker was garbage.
I tried to reserve judgment because I happen to like Jared Leto.
Suicide Squad was terrible.
But now they're trying to do a Joker origin movie. I think they're trying to do like the Joker.
Mm-hmm.
And
new actor
they're talking
and everything.
about recasting it again.
Yep. Not to mention, why are you going to show that movie? Like, nobody wants to see that movie.
Like, you know what?
Makes sense to me.
Do the Killing Joke.
That's rough.
Do a live action Killing Joke.
That's a rough movie. But
I'm just saying,
it could be done.
If you want to go dark, if you want to, because I feel like that's kind of where DC is trying to set themselves apart from Marvel, is that they're trying to make their movies darker and just not working.
And then,
with the exception of Wonder Woman.
And then I guess they made Justice League, and they're like, let's make it funny now. I don't know. They just can't get their shit together. That's the problem. But they keep pushing forward, and they keep throwing money away. So, and I mean, I'll keep seeing the movies.
Whatever. I know, we'll keep seeing them.
But
all right, so go on. What were your other ones that you wanted to talk about?
Other ones that are in development. Here's another one that I think they've done a good job with so far. And granted, there's only been 2. But the Lego movie universe. Okay. No, I'm sorry. There's been 3, and they've been amazing. The Lego movie, the Batman Lego movie, and then Ninjago, which was almost as good. But they've just been really, really good. Like, the Lego movie was fantastic. All the characters they had in it and stuff, it was amazing. And like the twist that you find out towards the end, like, if I'm not going to spoil it, because if you haven't seen this movie, it's one of those twists. It's so good. It was really so good.
Oh my god, the ending was
it was so good. And even the Batman Lego movie, like, to have all those Batman characters, like, my favorite scene in that movie is in the very beginning. Did you see the Lego Batman movie?
I've not watched it yet.
So they had Zach Galifianakis voice the Joker, which was kind of genius in itself too. And he's like going through the beginning, and they go to take over a plane, right? He's gonna take over a plane, and the pilot's just like sitting there straight faced looking at him, and he's like, he's like, "Aren't you scared of me? Don't I scare you?" He goes, "Batman's totally gonna stop you." He goes, "Batman's," and again tying universes together, genius. He goes, "Batman's not gonna stop me," and then the guy goes, he goes, "What does he say?" I don't know exactly what he says, but he references something along the lines of, "What about the time with the Prince music? What about the time? What about the time with the two boats? What about the time with the Prince music?" So he references the Jack Nicholson Joker and the
Oh, okay.
Heath Ledger Joker in the Batman Lego movie. They connect every Batman movie that's ever been made into this
Mm-hmm.
Lego movie. Like at one point, Alfred goes, "You went through similar." He goes, "You went through similar phases," and he hits every year that a Batman movie was made. So it was something like, "You hit similar phases in 1969, 1971, 1991, 1994, 1998." Like, and they show quick clips of everybody that's ever played Batman because he's talking about how he's like going through an identity crisis. So the joke is
Mm-hmm.
like he's been played by all these different people. Like it connected every Batman movie that's ever been made. It was genius. Please watch it this weekend.
Okay, I'll try.
But like they talk about every every Batman villain that's ever existed, like the Condiment King, the Polka Dot. And at one point, the guy goes, those don't all exist," and Zach Galifianakis is like, "Oh, they really do. It's probably worth a Google." Like telling people, like, yeah, there's like Calendar Man, the Condiment King. Like I said that already. The Condiment King. Like all these Batman villains have existed at one point or another. Some of them are so stupid,
Okay, that's
but like it was a genius movie. It was a phenomenal movie.
okay.
So Lego's got their own little universe that they're doing. They got Lego. The Lego Movie 2 is coming out soon, I believe.
Oh,
Um, but then like there's other ones coming out. I think Call of Duty wants to make their own set of movies. Um,
oh, boy.
Ghostbusters wants to make a wider universe. Um, this one's good. The Hasbro Universe.
What
GI
do you mean, like
Joe.
fucking Candyland?
No, GI Joe, Transformers, and then bringing in a bunch of other shows. Battleship. I bet you forgot Battleship was a movie. You
I
forgot that
bet
was
you
a.
I didn't forget Battleship was
You
a
forget
movie.
that. You
I
forgot
bet
that.
you I saw it opening night.
Forgot that shit pile was a movie, didn't you? But so yeah, it's just I don't know. Valiant Comics. I'm not a big Valiant Comics fan, but I guess they're going to be making that into a series. Sony got the rights to Valiant.
Okay.
Bloodshot, Harbinger, Bloodshot 2, Harbinger 2, Harbinger Wars. I don't know if you know any of that stuff.
I don't know any of those.
But, and then, of course, one of my personal favorites, Star Wars, which is just the
Of
greatest.
course.
Just the greatest. What can I say about Star Wars that I haven't already said in my lifetime? It will forever be my one true love. Other than, obviously, my wife and kids. But, that's a given. Don't tell my wife I said that.
It was funny because when we talked about Star Wars a couple weeks ago, and I said that I'm a casual fan. Um, my BFF there, Ashley, was texting me going, "I don't know how we're friends. I truly don't," because she's as big a Star Wars fan as you are.
I mean, I try not to think about it. Listen, nobody's perfect. Can't all be.
It's not like I said that I hate Star
We
Wars. I
can't
just said
all.
I
We
didn't grow
can't
up
all
watching
love.
it.
We can't all love the greatest series of movies of all time. I mean, it's just nobody's perfect. No big deal.
Okay.
I can forgive you. So yeah, like I said, it's just there's an obsession with it,
Okay.
and I think that it's going to continue on. I mean, people are going to keep trying to do it.
Well, I mean, world building is such a major thing. I mean, look at here's a great one we didn't even talk about: Game of Thrones.
Okay.
HBO has optioned like 6 other series.
Have they really?
In the Game of Thrones world, yes.
That's weird to me.
So, like, we might get, like, young Ned Stark.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Well, yeah, and I'll watch them all. Right?
Exactly.
I'll watch them all.
I'd like to watch a whole thing about dragons. Just give me a series about dragons.
Just a whole thing.
Yep.
But anyway, I digress. I don't even know what that means. I just said it because it sounded like the right thing to say at that point in time.
Okay.
So that's really all I got for universes.
Okay.
I know you did want to talk about, real quick, the NBA game that happened the other day, the All-Star game that happened the other day. And for anybody who hasn't Googled the national anthem sung by Fergie, please go ahead, pause this podcast. We'll wait for you to come back. Please go pause this and watch it, because if there was ever a dumpster fire on wheels, it was Fergie singing the national anthem at the NBA All-Star game. To the point where people were laughing and they put them on television laughing at her.
Including the basketball players that were supposed to be standing in reverence.
It was so bad. What the hell was she thinking?
I don't know. And it's funny because I don't like basketball. The only basketball I watch is the skills challenge of All-Star Weekend. It's a tradition that my husband and I have started since we started dating. So, the Saturday night before the All-Star game, we watch like the slam dunk competition.
Oh God!
All the fun stuff.
Sounds awful.
See, it actually is pretty fun. Like, it's the only thing that I enjoy when it comes to basketball.
All right.
So I didn't watch the All-Star game because I would never sit through an entire basketball game. So the next morning, my cousin Brianna is texting me and saying, "Oh my God, you have to see this." And so Fergie like tried to make the national anthem
sensual,
like jazz or blues, maybe.
I don't know. I thought she was trying to make it sensual.
But it was so cuckoo bananas that, like, and granted, she can actually kind of sing, but what she was doing was not good. And it was funny because, I forget who it was, somebody had tweeted, maybe this is the reason why we shouldn't do the national anthem at sporting events anymore.
Between people forgetting the words on live television.
But it was so bonkers. Like, I can't even. It was, I watched the whole thing going, well, what am I watching? Who approved this? Do you think that did she practice? Did she have a mic check?
Seriously.
Did somebody watch it and go, maybe you shouldn't? Yeah,
no, it was bad. Oh, boy. Yeah. So go ahead. Do yourself a favor. Go watch that
Lord,
if you want to laugh.
Please do.
Oh, boy. All right.
Okay. So this brings us to not a new segment, but something that, again, Facebook and my cousin Ryan.
This was requested from a viewer. Not a viewer. Yes, listener.
I believe Bree, my cousin Brianna.
Okay.
Nope. It was Ryan.
Okay.
Brianna said this should be on the podcast, and okay. Ryan said it could be in the Things I Get Now I'm Older segment.
Okay. So we're gonna do the Things I Get Now That I'm Older.
Yes.
Why don't you go first?
Okay, so Ryan posted a meme. This is what started it.
Okay.
And I got really mad, actually. And It said, this person's 19 years old. It took me 19 years to realize that when someone says, hold your horses, they're telling me to be stable.
I didn't realize that either until I read that meme, and I'm 35.
Yeah.
Oh, it's infuriating.
Right?
Ugh.
How? How did we never know that?
I have no idea. All right, so I got one. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
The phrase, I'm going to say it how I normally say it, and then I'm going to tell
Okay.
you that I just recently figured out that what the phrase actually is.
Okay.
Sometimes I will say, for all intensive purposes. It's
No.
not for all intensive purposes. It's for
No.
all intents and purposes.
Right.
I did not know that until an embarrassingly short time ago.
Okay. Um, well, I can tell you another embarrassing one. Being a Harry Potter fan,
Mm-hmm.
not realizing that the streets and towns, like townships of Diagon Alley and Nocturne Alley are diagonally and nocturnally.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Probably 2 years ago I figured that one out.
Nice. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
I would say about the time that the movie Elf came out,
Mm-hmm.
I realized that narwhals were actual animals that existed in the real world and not fictional creatures.
I just found that out like a year ago.
So there's that. Unicorns of the sea are real.
Yeah, I had no idea. I thought people were fucking with me.
Yep. So narwhals are real people. Embarrassed it took me this long.
Yeah, again, I probably didn't realize it until I was about 33, 34.
Nice.
Yeah.
You got any more?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head.
I got two more.
Oh, okay.
Two more. One is, one's kind of left to interpretation, but so when you get little kids and you do this little piggy went to market, this little piggy went home.
Uh-huh.
Did nobody ever think that the piggy that was going to market was not going there to go shopping?
I'm 35. I just found that out like a month ago.
Yeah, he was dead.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that.
What about the one that cried wee 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 all the way home? Probably watched its mother be slaughtered.
It's true. Although I don't know what was up with the one that was eating roast beef, because that's a different animal.
it was getting fattened up.
Oh, it's true. True. Good call. Good call. Just learned that one today. Finally, I learned recently the purpose of the tab on the top of soda cans
It's for straws.
is for straws. To hold your straw. So that's a thing.
Yes.
No idea. Had
Where
no
did you-
idea.
I saw that one on like a life hack.
I think I saw it quite a few years ago, but I was an adult when I found that out.
Yeah, I was also an adult when I found that out. It wasn't like something that, I just recently saw, but it was something, fairly new.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to cancel my call.
So there's that.
Okay, so is there anything that you're particularly liking?
No, like I said, I've been getting into Altered Carbon this week. I'm like I said, I am on episode 9, and I'm like almost refusing to watch the final episode because then I know I'm done. So that's I'm an amazing show. Obviously,
Okay.
I'm still following The Magicians now that I'm all caught up. I gotta watch it on DVR, so there's that.
Yeah.
That kind of stinks, but no. Other than that, it's just like I said, following the normal everyday stuff that I follow, hoping the waiting for the Olympics to die off, so all my shows will come back. It'd be nice. So,
Yes.
yourself?
Well, my worlds collided this morning with Good Mythical Morning.
They did. Your two greatest loves in entertainment.
No, okay. I wouldn't go that far. Well, for Pete, yes. Okay, so let me just take a step back, because obviously there's like two people in the world who know about my love for Pete Holmes. You and Ashley.
Now there's at least, I don't know, what, 25? Because we have maybe that many listeners.
And so Pete Holmes, I started listening to his podcast years ago, and
shout out to Pete Holmes. You made it weird.
Yeah. And I had to stop listening to it.
Why?
I don't know. Something in my brain was like, I'm like falling in love with this man. Like,
sweet Jesus.
It was a weird thing. Like, I would find myself driving and being like, he's just so sweet. And like, I don't know. It was a weird, I've never experienced anything like it. It was very weird.
That's kind of weird.
But like not in like a sexual, like I want to just, have sex with him. More like he is a giant man who I would like to spoon.
Okay.
Because
gotcha.
he's like huge. He's like, I want to say he's above 6'4", like
something like that. Yeah, he's a big guy.
He's a big guy. And so it was just, I've just always had this like weird thing about Pete Holmes. And don't get me wrong. Obviously, I love my husband.
Of course.
Not this is nothing to diminish my husband. And also, this isn't even like a, my love for like Tyler Hoechlin or any of the Chris's, Pratt.
This is real love. This is true love.
This isn't like, these guys are like hall passes. Like if I ever met Chris Evans or Sebastian Stan, my husband would be like, okay, you can have a freebie. Because it would just be sex. Pete Holmes, I'm like, he's a relationship kind of guy. So it's a weird. So I can't listen to his podcast.
You'd go over to his house, have a nice vegan meal, hold hands and watch a documentary.
Exactly.
Okay. Gotcha.
Like I said, it's weird. It's a weird thing. So, I can't watch his show Crashing either, because I watched the first couple episodes and I'm like, I can't watch bad things happen to him.
Gotcha.
Because I know this is based on his real life. So anyways, I've been watching a lot of Good Mythical Morning, and I kind of have like a comedy crush on Rhett and Link. Again, nothing like crazy or anything. But on Sunday, I was looking at YouTube, and you know how they put up a preview of like what's
coming up this week.
And up pops a picture of Rhett, Link, and Pete Holmes. And I texted you, and what did I sent you a screenshot of it, and said, what did I say? Oh, it was kind of like, are you fucking kidding me? And then Ashley texts me like 5 minutes later, and was like, what did she say?
You said, by the way, fucking Pete Holmes is on GMM this week, all in capitals. Are you even kidding me?
Okay. But then Ashley texted me something like, your three loves are going to be on at the same time. How are you going to handle it? Or something like that. So then you texted me at like, 6:30 this morning?
Yes.
About Good Mythical Morning, and was like, you're not going to be able to handle it.
It was pretty good. That was funny.
Yeah. So, you're going to lose it watching today's first GMM segment.
Yes.
So I'm shout out to Rhett and Link for having Pete Holmes on and really truly making my morning.
There you go.
Yeah.
Very nice.
That's it.
Alrighty. So, let's do a little cleanup here. Little standard. So we're on Twitter, A and J Have No Ideas. Facebook, you know our Facebook page, April and J Have No Ideas. We're on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and as of today, we're on SoundCloud. For those of you SoundClouders out there, apparently you need to like sign up and pay for more space because I tried to upload the 3 episodes and it told me I didn't have enough space in my plan, and that it was only going to put 1 episode up. But so I'm working on SoundCloud. Our website, aprilandj.libsyn.com. But yeah, you can pretty much find us anywhere you find your favorite podcast. But please give us a rating or a review on iTunes to help us climb the charts and make that YouTube money. Because we can't get rich unless you say we're nice and good.
We're also on YouTube.
And we're also on YouTube.
Our episodes upload directly to YouTube. I was listening to it on the train on Sunday.
I'm thinking eventually maybe we even upload these videos and then we have videos for people to watch in case they want to see our faces and what we actually do while we record the podcast. I move my head back and forth on my shoulders.
Nice salt lamp, by the way.
Thank you. Saw that? Salt lamp? We bought like 30 of them 2 years ago for Christmas, and everybody we know got a salt lamp. They're cheap, and they come from like Afghanistan.
All right.
So, on that note,
I've been April.
And I've been Jay.
And maybe that was an idea?
Yeah. There's a few ideas. Some other people's ideas. I tried to use them as my own.